All right, so let's go ahead and look at a couple examples of clay in use and how this lexicon design language is playing out. Okay, so the way we're going to do this for now is we're just going to go ahead and import a simple piece of web content and just look at some of the components that we talked about in the section here. Okay, so first let's start by removing the Hello World widget here. We're going to get rid of this, and eventually we're going to see some new content on the pages. All right, so I'm going to click on the options menu. Okay, we can just go ahead and click on remove and OK. All right, so this gives us a blank page. All right, and let's go ahead and import our content. So this is pretty simple. Go ahead and open the menu with me here. Might take a second to load. All right, and then we're going to go into the content section of site administration. Click on web content. Okay, we're going to import some content that's going to be using some of these clay components, namely these buttons. We'll go ahead and see some of the clay buttons. All right, so here we are. I'm going to go ahead and come to the top right, click on that options menu, and click on export import. Might take a second to load here. All right, go ahead and click on the import tab. All right, and then click select file. And we're going to go ahead and go to our exercises. So that's going to be in either C Liferay or user home Liferay. Remember, we unzipped our exercises here, so go into the exercises folder. And in the 02 UI frameworks section here, so for chapter 2, go ahead and choose the London Travel.lar and hit open. Continue. And import. All right. So we should see that this says successful. All right, we can go ahead and close this pop-up here. All right, we're going to update this web content with some of our clay components. Okay, so click on the Visit London web content here. Okay. All right, so we have our Visit London content here. We're going to go ahead and click into the content section. Okay, so this content field, and this will give us access to our Alloy editor that we have in Liferay. We can go ahead and click on code view. All right, if you want to get fancy, you can go ahead and open up the full screen option here. Okay, where we can see our code and we can see the output. All right, and we're going to go ahead and just grab some simple code from a text file in our exercises. So go ahead and open up your exercises. Okay, so I'm just going to go in here. Again, C Liferay or user home Liferay. In that second chapter there's going to be a claybuttons.txt. I'll go ahead and open that up. All right, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy all of the code here. You'll see some of the components here: button, button primary, button group, etc. Go to close this. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and paste this into the very bottom. Okay, so just going to come down here, paste it on in. We'll see our buttons down at the bottom here. I'm going to remove these spaces and click done. We can see our buttons in action here. Go ahead and click publish at the very bottom. All right, and we can go ahead and place this on the page and take a look at how this is going to work on an actual site page. So to do that, we can click Go to Site. That's going to be in the site administration here to the left. All right, click on that Add menu. It's going to be at the top right there. All right, and there's a content section here where we can see our new Visit London, and we can just go ahead and drag this onto the page. Okay, so I'm going to close this here and just take a look. Okay, we have Book Now, we have See More, and we have some additional options here as well. Now, of course, content managers can go ahead and add links and different things like this when they have all of the pages set up, but this just gives us a basic example of some of those clay components in action. All we need to do as front-end developers is use some of those classes, and we get some nice consistent styling across the board. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and just remove this from the page. Again, feel free to dig into that a little bit more, look at the code, feel free to play around with it, maybe even go to the Clay documentation, choose some classes and build some things on your own. But otherwise, when you're done, we're going to go ahead and remove this just like the Hello World widget so that we can have a clean slate to start with. Okay, so with that, we'll see you in the next section.